Hello, welcome back to A City Planner Plays City Builders, where we are viewing the city of Lake Valley. And, this has been a really interesting year for the world, for me, for everyone. But one of the things I never imagined doing at the start of the year was starting a YouTube channel and getting a bit of a following. And I'm really appreciative of that. And I want you guys to know that when you type a comment to me, you're giving me your time. You've watched my video and you've taken the time to say something, and I read through every comment. When I place a heart, that means I've read it. That means that I've taken some time to digest what you've said, and I respond to as many as I can. And one of the comments I see frequently is, I'm starting the game and it's really hard, and you make it look easy, and I want to let you know that even with my training and expertise in planning, I wasn't always all that good at this game. So I actually went back before I disbanded my old computer that I built in grad school, and I pulled off all my old save files. And this save file is actually from March 12th, 2015 at 1 a.m. And the game was released on March 10th, 2015. So, basically the very first city I ever built, right after I built it, and I abandoned it shortly thereafter. And there's a number of reasons why, and I think they're going to be fairly apparent when we take a look. First of all, this is my entrance to the city. Come off the highway and immediately enter an arterial that for some reason is two ways, but there's no way to loop back around. So that makes some of these buildings inaccessible. So we have industrial right off to start out with, which, not a bad idea. Let's back out. Let's take a look actually at zoning. So it's not a bad idea to have industrial by the entrance or exit to your city. Unfortunately, I just kept extending it and adding landfills repeatedly. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 landfills for a city of under 13,000 people. So then I decided I needed a downtown area, and I built this downtown. And if you look, I attempted roadway hierarchy in some places, and other places I deviated. So I do make the transition from this arterial to some collectors, and from the collectors to local roads. But I'm kind of doing so haphazardly. And over here, I introduce an arterial for no apparent reason outside of bordering the downtown area. And there's no lane management at all. It just kind of happens. So, I didn't, even though I understood proper roadway hierarchy, I wasn't doing it right in the game. So here I have this same arterial, Middle Street, meeting up with Wright Street. So 3 lanes teeing into 2. So that's pretty unnecessary. Kind of overkill. And when you take a look, I'm not really using these roads appropriately. And a lot of tools that are available in the game now weren't available at the time. So all of these signals, they just exist. And there were ways to kind of take a step back and maybe make this a bit more efficient, take some of these high capacity roads out, but I didn't do that. I just left them in there. So I also was using the tools that were available to me. So I have over here I have a whole bunch of drain pipes, and across the water I have a pumping station. And I think I just managed to get really lucky. So because I have the pumping station over here, I'm pumping fresh water and I'm dumping this raw sewage just across the water and getting lucky that it's not being sucked in. So it's pretty fascinating, the decisions that I made here. I have this arterial roundabout with stop signs all over, or stop lights all over the place, and this would be a nightmare. So you leave this signalized roundabout and have what is the shortest block length ever down a hill to get to this collector and this crazy arterial bridge with everyone lining up in the center lane to enter this roundabout. For no apparent reason. No reason why this should be there. So let's take a look at the city. How's it doing? Traffic because it's the vanilla game, traffic flow is not that bad. We do have this, so this is one of the maps that came with the game, and interestingly, it looks like even in the base game, this is a poorly optimized setup here. I mean, going from one lane and immediately it going to 3, and yeah, it's a little far out. And I've zoned districts that I just don't need. I wanted a bunch of high density residential, so I put it there, giving little mind to the fact that I needed more industrial. And the reason I needed more industrial is because I don't have enough office space. If I had this office space, it might cut down on the amount of industrial that I need. But I didn't understand, and truthfully, up until recently, didn't understand that office and industrial are the same in this game. So zoning office means you don't need as much industrial. And because I have no cargo terminal, all of my industrial needs are being fulfilled by the highway. I do find it fascinating that the traffic isn't breaking down here. And maybe a part of that is that I've built this extensive subway system. Let's take a look at that. This extensive subway system within the city and a nice bus line overlay going through. Now these routes are, again, kind of nonsensical, but they are providing a good overlay of the entire city. I'm not sure what I was trying to accomplish, sort of having routes that blanketed most of the downtown area. And there's some ridership, but it's certainly not all that efficient. Interestingly, it looks like my subways, I either placed them and never actually utilized them, or for some reason it didn't carry through in the save. My guess is it didn't carry through in the save. I highly doubt that I would have just placed these and not done anything with them. So, needless to say, I am very curious. What would happen if I were to actually fill in these subway lines? I think I can tell what I was trying to do. This is probably it. I don't know what I was accomplishing here. Maybe... Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe a complementary loop that deviated in this direction for some reason. Certainly not the best setup, but we'll run with it. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so we have this loop now. Did that improve traffic? Nope, not really. Not yet. Maybe if we speed it up. Yeah, so I don't think it's going to do a lot. Oh, it looks like traffic's... at least it's maintaining. But this is a pretty poorly optimized line. I'm not sure why I thought a 90-degree angle in the subway was a good idea. But at the time, I guess it was. The one thing I'll say about this map, to its credit, there's not a lot of grade, so I didn't screw it up. I guess right here I did. Kind of like just had this arterial extending out, I guess for future expansion that never occurred. And let's look at our healthcare. Lots of sick citizens. I wonder what our contamination looks like. Surprisingly, look at this. No drinking water contamination. That is shocking. I bet you that I could improve this city fairly easily. Now I'm very curious. What do I do to not demolish this city, but still have it work? So I think one of the things I would do, start out with, I'd love, okay, so this is full. I'll empty this and put a roundabout right here. That'll immediately improve things. So, we're going to need to deal with our waste situation. And I think a way to deal with that would be to try to, let's get these uses away from the city. So I think I'm just going to have an incinerator over here. And I can't recall if this was in the base game at the time. Maybe that's why I didn't include it. See if that does the trick. And we can look at water. So I followed roads, but they just kind of went rogue. I guess at the time I was thinking, well, it doesn't really matter. So the interesting thing is, at this time, all of my planning experience was transportation planning. I knew nothing about utilities or anything of that nature. I was a consultant for the first part of my career, and everything was really theoretical, applying my grad school knowledge, and not really thinking about the real world implications of the planning decisions I was making in the game. So, that could be frustrating, as a public sector employee at this point, when you hire a consultant and they have high-minded ideas that are really great in theory, but in practice don't work for a variety of reasons. And that's who I was. I will unabashedly and quite honestly proclaim that that's who I was. Let's go through it. I'm my intention initially wasn't to improve this, but let's just see what I can do to make this a functioning place, because I'm fascinated by it. So, okay, we've set priority. That's something we certainly couldn't do when the game was first released. So here, I think we're going to take this down. There's just no need for this kind of overbuilding of roadway infrastructure. So just by making this quick modification, I'm at least following roadway hierarchy principles. I've made sure that I'm following-ish roadway hierarchy principles. So the entryway to the city is still pretty messed up. And honestly, we don't need all of this crazy extension stuff, so let's just get rid of it. We honestly don't need this to be a collector at all. So maybe we'll just take that down a notch. Okay, let's get back to looking at our junctions. Whoa, that was not what I meant to do. Alright, let's now go back in. Wow, a lot going on here. So you can see as new functionality was added to the game, things, when you go back in, are a little bit messed up. I'm also not helping anything with some of the choices that I'm making, or modifications that I'm making to the game. So I have some one-ways here. That's interesting. At least I have a couplet or a pair. I don't know why I thought that one-ways were necessary there. But truthfully, I think at this time I was doing things for aesthetic reasons, not necessarily because it was necessary. I think I was using some of the principles that I had, but not necessarily applying them evenly. This was fairly early out in my career, so my perspective on things has certainly changed as I've gained more experience, which I think is fairly normal for anyone in any profession. Okay, again I have an arterial here. That is wholly unnecessary. So let's, before we get too deep in the weeds here, oh boy, I can't get rid of this without demolishing a whole bunch of stuff. So we are going to live with it. Oh my goodness. I have a subway stop in the middle of this roundabout. I don't know what I was thinking. That's crazy. All right, well, I guess I was just having a good time. 'Cause I see no other logical explanation for that. It's just, yeah. So, as you can see, I made questionable decisions. So don't beat yourself up if your first city isn't functioning properly. I think a lot of this is just getting used to the game mechanics. Even if you have a lot of planning knowledge, you're still going to make a lot of mistakes. And that's because this is an approximation of the world. It's not reality. And, we're only human. So I think that if this proves anything, it's that it doesn't matter how much you know. You can make some pretty bizarro choices. Also, at this time, the functionality of the base game was simply limited. So I was working with what I had, which unfortunately wasn't enough to do some of the things I'm doing now. That really worked to optimize the game. Okay, so I think I've gone through and I've fixed every junction. So let's see what that did to traffic. 88%. So even in this crazy broken city, a couple of decisions got traffic up to 88%. So I think I am going to buy this tile, not to build, but to fix. This entryway into the city is terrible. So let's see if we can't make that a little bit better. Truthfully, the best way probably of handling this, probably taking this down. Whoops. And again, I got trigger happy. Okay. So I think that would be a big benefit. Now let's look at our lanes. Let's have a little bit of lane management here. Make sure that everything lines up. Let's see what that does to traffic. It's still not good. I mean, this is still crazy. Let's look at our statuses. So we are in a rough spot with garbage processing. Let's just go all out. If this city's doing anything, it's making money. So our healthcare is okay. Death care is fine. There's no childcare, healthcare at the time, so I'll leave that. Fire hazard, holy cow. So I have 3 fire departments. Okay, that one's on a local road. This one is on an arterial, or a collector. So here's how we're gonna fix that. Let's get those loading on a local street. And I think I saw one more over here. Yeah, not really a lot I can do to fix that without demolishing things. I don't really know why I'm bringing this with a collector anyway. I don't know why this roundabout's here. There's no purpose for it. But that station's getting a lot of use. Just going to extend this out to give these trash vehicles a few more options to get to places, because we are struggling with our trash collection. Okay, so at least we've established a sort of roadway network in this area to get this terrible trash collection, I guess, a little bit remedied. So one of the things that I didn't do in this build at all was factor in trains for cargo. So that's one thing that I think might fix this city a bit. I don't really have any close access to it based on the network that I've created. So maybe I'll just leave that. I thought initially maybe it would be nice to kind of remedy that. There's some really questionable decisions. Alright, crime rate high. Police station 1 on this collector. So that should improve things. Problem is our jail capacity is not in a good place. So I think we would need another police station over here. Put one in this neighborhood. That should improve things some. At least we have coverage over here now on in part of the area. Okay. So I know that the garbage thing that I did is making this really challenging. Might just, because I want these to empty. Oh boy, got a power plant right there. I'm just gonna put a bunch of recycling centers here to try to remedy that, and I'm gonna fix, or I don't know if I'd call it a fix, but I'll do something to this road. Yeah, this is a disaster. It's a bad situation. Let's see, I guess I could make this an arterial. Maybe that'll improve things some. It's just a bad layout, so that's one of the challenges here is if you have a bad layout, how do you fix it? Truthfully, I think taking this and making this a roundabout might be the way, or adding a roundabout here. And why don't we do that? Although it's cleaning up, interestingly. That little fix made all the difference in the world. No signals, just come off the highway and do as you please. Yeah, so let's take a look. I'm curious. I don't want to belabor this. This is not a good city, but at least it's functioning now. 90% traffic flow by those couple of changes. So you can see, as long as you're actively managing things, and look at that. Now I have this district filling in. As long as you're actively managing things, you can make things happen. Wow, just applied a whole bunch of policies. My guess this is most heavy traffic ban. Most of the policies that were available to me at the time, I was just applying them. So anyway, I just wanted to show that you don't need to necessarily feel bad about your first city. You'll get better. If you are watching people like me or Biffa or Sam Burr or any number of other YouTubers, you're probably in a better spot than some of us were. And it's just a fun game. Just have fun with it. No, I've got to fix this. I've got to fix this before I leave. Let's give it a shot. Oh, I'm failing at this miserably. Better way to do it. Let's see what this does. I'm curious. I just want to see if this improves things at all. It looks like it improved things a bit. Clearly, if we went all out and had dedicated entry and exit points to this roundabout from the collector network, it would probably function better. But it's okay. It's working all right. Let's see what this has done to our traffic flow. Still at 90. We still have really, really close access points here, which is never a good thing on a collector. And the places where you see that kind of those pinch points, it could really be avoided. Just a couple changes. So anyway, I hope that you found this interesting. I am going to be getting back to my regularly scheduled programming at the start of the year, but I wanted to end the year on something, I guess, a little different, a little fun, a little interesting. And I hope that this at least provided a little bit of entertainment. Happy New Year. Here's to hoping that 2021 is a significantly better year than 2020. At this point, I don't know how it couldn't be. And thank you all so much for joining me and for going on this ride with me. I'm going to keep it up, and hopefully you'll keep watching and joining me. So thank you so much for joining. If joining me today. If you like this video, please like it. If you want to see more more content from me, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I release new videos. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next episode of Verde Beach. Take care. Bye-bye.